Shut up and sit down.
Okay, welcome to part 2 of the micro VMC build. So this one we're going to cover the fabrication of the frame and a little bit of starting to machine it. Just popping some holes in so that I can hold it once I get it back from blasting and base coat. So we are just busy leveling out the welding table while they are sharpening my stone. They got taking off any weld splitter that was on the table, and then I disappeared to go and deal with some people that were moving. This was on a Friday afternoon, everyone else was busy moving. So yeah, I'm just putting chamfers on where my welds are going to be. Yeah, I hadn't done much prep work, so I took this opportunity to just quickly put some chamfers so that I could fill them up with a weld bead. Now I found some more high spots on the table, just busy grinding them off. Yeah, it's 100 by 100mm square tubing, 8mm wall thickness, and then there's 100 by 30 bright mild that I'm dropping in now to use as spacers. So all my surfaces have been machined, and I'm using the edge of the table to square it up, well, to set it long ways. The BMS will keep the two pieces of tubing parallel to each other. I'll set it in place, and then I'm going to throw a bit of a tack weld there using the let me close my eyes and quickly weld this to just tack it, because we don't, our auto-docketing helmet died, so I have a manual helmet. Once it's tacked together, then I'll pop the helmet back on. I'm wearing my hood because I learned the hard way that hair is flammable a few days before this. Yeah, well, I was getting a bit of weld splitter landed in my hair, and next thing I've got a hot head. So just to be on the safe side, I got my beanie, I mean my hoodie on, and I disappeared again to go and close up, make sure the factory was locked once everybody left. Yeah, in this video you're going to discover that my name is definitely not Tony. I have shins and I'm quite young, so my welding is really not up to par, so I'm more of a grinder than a welder. Although having said that, by the time I got to welding the vertical of this frame, my welding is pretty decent. Yeah, and I'm tacking in the back. It will effectively be the motor mount for the Y-axis ball screw. Now I'm just filling up the welds in the front, so making it rather robust. And then I'm going to check it again with the tape diagonally to make sure I'm within square. I was within about 1mm on the frame, so I was pretty happy with that. It was a lot squarer than I thought it would be, and it's all going to be machined in any case, so not really a problem. Now I'm checking how I'm going to mount that little piece of 100 by 100 in there. I'll fill up the bottom of the motor mount and the ball screw float end support mount, the bead. Now putting a nice hot bead in there, got decent penetration with this welder. Did play with a bit of the settings and actually got it welding better by the time I did the vertical section of this frame. I'm not sure if I have footage of the vertical section, but there'll definitely be machining footage of it in the next installment, or the one after that. I'm not exactly sure I'm doing the videos yet. Yeah, so I'm filling in all my welds, and then on the table there I've got 2 end caps that I welded into the front of the tubing to close it off to make it a bit more rigid. So I'm just filling in my welds there. At this point the frame is pretty rigid. I do end up going and putting 2 cross supports on the bottom to make it super rigid. They also double as my hard mounting points when I install the machine on its frame. They also give me 2 points to bolt to the CNC's bed when I machine the flats for the linear rails, and then I machine the ball screw mounting places, and let the grinding begin. Yeah, I must have spent more time grinding this thing than I'm actually happy to admit. Spent about an hour and a half grinding this frame to get it all smooth. This is even before I put in those end caps. Those end caps really add. Okay, so I've jumped into the future a bit. I've welded those end caps and ground them. Took the footage out because it was rather boring. Now I'm busy welding in the 30 by 100 BMS plates that will be what the column mounts to. Those have got some serious welds on each side of them. They're going to be drilled and tapped to accept M12 bolt and a jacking screw so that I can adjust the column into perpendicularity with the y-axis slides. So yeah, weld those up there and put a good while into grinding them. And then between those two pieces is a piece of 100 by 100 BMS that'll just fill the gap, just give me a bit more of a rigid joint between the two pieces of tubing. So overall this section of frame weighs probably around 50 to 60 kilos, 120 pounds, so rather robust. And then we still got the column that goes on top of that, which also weighs probably a good 20 to 30 kilos, so 40 to 60 pounds. And then I ended up killing the grinder as well. I dropped a piece of steel on the cord. And now I'm over on the Bridgeport type machine. I can't actually remember what it's called. Busy setting up, just changing out the drill chuck to the bigger one that'll accept the 18mm drill that I wanted to use, so that I can poke 2 holes through here that'll allow me to clamp it to the T-slots on our VMC for when I machine the places for the linear ways. So I've measured and pop marked some holes here, and then I'm just going to drill through basically by hand. It's not the most stable setup, but they're literally clearance holes. It doesn't really need to be. I didn't even clamp it down, I just freaking held it by hand. Shoot, it was fine. There was no need to spend time clamping it down when I've got to move around quickly. It was during my lunch break that I was drilling this, that I could get it done during the week. I've got to still do the column this week, and then that'll be off to shot blast and base coat. So the plan is to shot blast just to stress relieve the material a bit before I put it into VMC and machine all of the linear ways, where the linear ways are going to sit. So I don't want to go machine it and then it moves on me. So that's an attempt to try and make it stable. And then I got a dodgy Zimbabwean trying to be smart. Yeah, so it'll be shot blast, then I'll machine it, and then I think I might send it back there just to get its base coat, or maybe shot blast again and base coated. And then like 1,000 layers of paint, so it's nice and thick so it hides my bad welds. Across the bottom of the parts I'm actually drilling are 80 by 20 block mold steel. These holes are 6.8, they're going to accept a M8 tap for my main mounting holes to the frame, or the stand. So it'll get placed on the stand and just put some bolts in from the bottom to fasten it down so it doesn't fall off. Those other holes are just there to accept a 16mm stud, so I can bolt it to the T-slots in the CNC when I'm machining it. So this is, I think, what are we at? We're about 7 minutes, 8 minutes, it's not too bad. I think this is going to conclude part 2, and next week we'll have some machining footage of the XY cross plates, which I machined already, and then I think I've got some footage of my ball screw nut holding blocks, and I think I've also got some footage of making the spindle housing, because the spindle housing's done already. Yeah, so you guys can look forward to that next week in part 3 of the VMC build. Looks like this is going to be a weekly series, so let's hope for the best. If you have any questions, pop me a comment, and I'll try to get back to you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a good one.